Hey YouTube, Tim here. Update on the 1997 Harley-Davidson Dyna Y Glide. That is an FXDWG. Back from my trip to Florida. First went to Charlotte. Took the Road King. You can see it's filthy. Got bugs all over it. Took the Road King to Charlotte. Picked up my buddy Tony. Quick shout out to Tony and thank you very much for going along with me on our trip. I had a ball. Went to Charlotte, and then we went down to Savannah, and then we went down to Ocala, went to the Don Carlos Museum of Drag Racing. Then we took a day, rode over to Daytona, first motorcycle rally I'd ever been to. Went to Daytona, saw that was cool, and then we made the ride back. Been back this week, but this is the first time I've had, first chance I've had to play with the bike. I've done a little bit of work, a little bit more work on it, done some cleaning up. I had all of this off. Rear shocks, struts, everything in the back end off, cleaned and polished as the best I could. Cleaned this up as best I could. My brackets do have a little issue with my backrest. The backrest was like this, right? That's how that was. But as you can see, it's pretty rusty under there. I've been polishing on this for a long time, trying to get this better. And I don't think I'm going to get it any better. So I think I've decided to take this plate, and I was going to get it re-chromed, but I think I'm going to do something different. I think I'm going to grind this down to bare metal, prime it, and paint it gloss black. And in my opinion, that just might bring the black of the rear fender into the chrome. I don't know, might look kind of cool back there. If I make that gloss back and wet sand it and polish it, and then reattach my emblem onto the back. Once I get that all smooth and black, that might really make that pop. We'll see. Let me know in the comments what you think. But I'm playing with the rear lights, and I'm sure I'm tired of thinking about the rear lights. So I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing about them. So I'm going back with the original lights because I cannot decide whether to use the Pro 1 Viper rear light, which is a really cool light. It comes back here in a slant, and then slants back that way, and they make them only in yellow, so they're real tight. And you can buy LED, they're single function, but you can buy, because they are LEDs, so you can buy a resistor that makes it a dual function with a high and a low circuit. But since they're only yellow, I would just make them turn signals. Or there's another company, Alloy Art. Alloy Art has a strut light that goes right over the end of the strut. Now, I have not seen them on a bike. I think they stick out back here and go through this bolt, which would leave these holes open, so I'd have to find something to fill them. But I haven't seen them on a bike yet. But they're just real slender, long lights, and they're red, and I could make them triple function. But I decided for right now, since I'm an idiot and I can't make up my mind what to do, I'm just going to clean up the lollipop lights, which I hate. Why do I hate lollipop lights? That right there. They stick out, and they grab stuff. And both of these lights have grabbed stuff. I'm sure people putting them in against the wall, driving it next to stuff, and putting it away in a tight spot, gets banged up. And both lights are like that. Both of my rear lights are like that. This one too. You can see it's been scratched up from being probably leaned on the side stand and scraped on there. But I wanted to show what I'm doing with this. So the rear lights on this, rear tail lights on this, or these lights were originally yellow, and they were single function. According to what I've read, they were turn signals only. So they were 2-wire, and they had a black wire that went to ground, all the way up through the fender to ground. And then they had a violet wire, which was your signal wire. These lights, basically, these are dual function lights. They do say inside them, and you probably won't be able to see it. It's hard to see. They do say Harley-Davidson. But these are dual filament. Basically, they're 2-wire because the ground is in the body of the light itself. So they're dual function 3-wire. And as you can see, the wires on them are black. And as you can see, someone has used the crimp connectors, the butt connectors, which I love. But even inside the wires are black. And I say I love them. because I don't love them. They're terrible. So here's what I'm doing. I am going to make my own harnesses. Bought some wire. Couldn't find violet wire anywhere, so I got blue and red. Blue is what this motorcycle uses for driving lights, and it uses violet for turn, so I'm going to go red for turn. And I'm going to hook them back up as dual function, so they will illuminate with the tail light, and then they will flash brighter with the turn signal. And I've already wired one up and tried it. I know it's going to work, but I wanted to show you how I'm doing it. So like if you look in this light, like I said, they're butt connectors. I've determined which wire does what. That's why I marked them. Turn and run. And I'm going to solder and shrink tube and strain relief my colored wires. So that's what I did over here. I already got this one done. So I soldered and shrink tube. Now I know my red and blue wires. Red will be turn, blue will be driving light. I put a strain relief on each one of those in shrink tube. I put a shrink tube strain relief where it goes through the hole. I put a shrink tube strain relief where it comes through back here over the top of it so it won't rub through. And shrink tube where I can pass it through there. I did buy all new clips for inside the fender so I can clip it to the inside of the fender like it's supposed to be. It was just hanging down in there, and it ate up the wires, which kind of is what got me. I had to do something with these even if I reused them. But in fact, let's talk about those clips. The clips, I couldn't find the clips listed for a Dyna, for a Y-Glide. But I found them for a Softail. And they look like this. They just clip onto the little buttons underneath the fender. I got them from Drag Specialties. And there's a part number. These are listed for a Softail, but they are exactly the same as what was on this motorcycle. So if you need them, hit Drag Specialties or any one of the companies. I think I went to Parts Giant. They carried them. And so I've got all new ones in there. So now I can, you know, clip my wires into place. And they will stay up. It'll hold up there. I wanted to encase my harness. See, I made a harness. I wanted to encase it in something to keep it all together so I didn't have loose wires around. And I couldn't find a small enough wire loom. So what I did find was big long tubes of 1/4-inch shrink tube. Shrinks down to 1/8. So it's not super tight on the wire, but it provides me with like a wire loom. So that'll keep the wires all together. I can clip them all in my clips. Go through that hole up there. You go through this hole in the fender, come through this hole in the frame, bring them right up to here where I can solder the pins on and put the pins back in the connector and make it all nice and neat to plug right into the connector. I have the connector off over here, and that's what I'm going to do. I will repin that. Since this has been modified, these ground wires are no longer needed because it grounds through the body of through the strut. So I'll probably snip these and then shrink to them, you know, just so that they're there. So I'll need them, but they'll be smaller. But just a quick update. Wanted to show what I'm doing. I will show another one when I'm done. But just a quick update. Got the wheel off. Going to get going on my tire here pretty soon. Can't wait. Got to do rear lights, finish the tire. Do my front tire. Oh, I painted my battery box. Finally got around to doing that. That's hanging up there. That was pretty corroded. I had to wait for the weather. That was one thing I did do this week was it finally was warm enough around here and wasn't raining for a couple of days. So I let it get dry, so I put some black on there. So that's what I'm up to. So hit me up in the comments what you think, and we'll talk to you later. Have fun.